In this video, we are going to discuss the linked list data structure and the recursive algorithm to search a key in the linked list. I will give you a line by line simple explanation of all the code that we will be writing in this video. Watch this video till the end as I will also show you visually how to construct logic while writing linked list algorithms. My name is Aditya Shenoy from Brainy Things, where I make programming simple and fun. YouTube statistics show that some of you who watch my videos are not subscribed to this channel, so if you end up liking this video, please consider subscribing. It is free and you can always change your mind in future. Before constructing the linked list class, let's first create the node class. So I will create a class, I will name it as node. Inside this, I will define the constructor by defining the double underscore init function. Apart from self parameter, this node class will have a data parameter which we will use to set self.data is data. This data will be the data inside the node in the linked list. The linked list that we will be considering in this video will be a single linked list. So each node in the linked list will have a next pointer. So we will set cell.next is none. Initially, these next pointers will point to none values, but once we start constructing the linked list, this next pointer will point to other node objects. So this is all you need to write for the node class. So let's execute this and start writing the code for the linked list class. So class linked list. Again defining the constructor by defining the double underscore init function. Apart from self parameter, we will be having an array of elements that we need to initialize this linked list with. As in the previous videos, we have already covered how to insert nodes in the linked list. I will be writing the logic to insert nodes in the linked list in the constructor itself. If you are not sure how to insert nodes in the linked list, you can definitely check out the video that I have linked in the iCard above and in the description below. So inside this constructor, first we will initialize self.head to none. This head pointer will point to the first node in the linked list. As initially this linked list is empty, hence this self.head is initially pointing to none. And we need to traverse all the elements in the array. In this for loop, we will be inserting nodes at the beginning of the linked list. So to maintain the order of the data inside the array and in the linked list, we need to traverse the elements of the array in reverse. So I will use a slice operator and do this :-1 so that the elements in the array are reversed and then the for loop is traversed. So inside this, I will initialize new node with the constructor by calling the constructor of the node class that we have just created and pass the element inside the constructor. Then we will set new node's next pointer to the current cell.head and we will update the cell.head to this new node. If you're not sure how these three lines work, you can definitely check out the videos. I have made a detailed video of how to insert nodes at the beginning of the linked list. This is the constructor done. Now we need to define a utility function so that we can convert the linked list to a string object so that we can directly pass the linked list object inside the print function to visualize it better. So for that, I will define the :string function like this with just the self parameter. We need to initialize the result list, an empty list that will contain the data of the linked list, and we need to traverse the nodes, all the nodes in the linked list starting with self.head. So I will make a node and initialize that to self.head initially. While there are nodes in the linked list, we need to append to the result list the string representation of node.data. And once the node.data has been appended to the result list, we can proceed with the next node by doing this node equal to node.next. And once the node becomes none, that is we reach the end of the list and the while loop breaks, we can return an arrow separated string that will join all the data that is present inside the result list. So this is all we need to write for the constructor of the node class, linked list class, and an utility function to convert the linked list to a string object. Now we can start writing the code for searching an element inside a linked list recursively. So for that, I will define a function search recursive, and apart from self parameter, I need to pass the key that we need to find inside this linked list. Internally, this recursive function will not work with just one parameter apart from self. We also need to know which node we are trying to search recursively. So to overcome the problem of lower number of parameters, we need to take the helper function So inside this recursive function, I will return the value returned by the self dot search recursive helper. This helper function will contain three parameters. First will be the node, where we want to check the data matching with the key. Then we need to check pass the key as well, so that we understand which key we are talking about, which key we are searching for, and the index. So self.head is at index 0, so we will pass an index of 0, but that will change recursively. So let's so this is done. So let's start defining this search recursive helper. As this is a instance function, we need to pass the self parameter again, but apart from this self parameter we have three parameters, just as discussed before. So the current node, the key, and the index. And if you're familiar with the iterative code, these parameters are like the node and the index are the parameters or are the variables that gets updated in the while loop. So if you want to convert an iterative code to a recursive code, you just need to keep track of what variables are updated inside the while loop. And we are passing key because the condition to check whether the data of the node is matching to the key is present inside the while loop. And if you're not sure how to write the iterative code for this search function, you can definitely check out my previous video. I have made a detailed video for that. So inside this function, for any recursive function, we first need to check for the base cases, otherwise the recursion will be called infinitely and it will lead to an error. So first we will check like if the node passed inside this function is none, that is the list passed is empty. List can, or it can be sublist as well. So if not node, then we will return -1. So if the node is none, it should return -1. After this is checked, we need to check if the node.data matches the key, and if it matches, we already know what index this node is at, so we can just return this index. So we'll return index. So this is all the option we have for this current node. So it will first check if the node exists or not, and if it exists, then we will check whether this current node's data matches the key. If both these cases are not true, the current node's responsibility is over, so it can pass its searching responsibility to this next node. So after both these if conditions, it will return and call recursively search recursive helper. The responsibility is passed to node.next. The key will remain same because we are still searching for the same key, and index will be incremented by 1 because the node's next value has been called, so index will also increment by 1. So if you understand this code intuitively like this, you will remember this code much better. You might wonder, like, if it calls multiple times nodes.next, node.next, what will happen if it reaches the end of the linked list? In that case, this node.next will eventually become none, and a none value will be passed inside the node. So this condition will trigger and it will return -1. So this condition is not just for an empty linked list, it also triggers for the end of the linked list as well. So let's visualize this code to understand this code better. So here we have a linked list with two nodes. The head is pointing to the first node and the last node's next pointer is pointing to a none value. Externally, when we call this search recursive function, this function will be called. This is a hidden function. So we just need to pass the key that we are trying to find. So let's say we are passing a key equal to 1 to find. So a key of 1 will be passed. I will keep track of that over here. And internally what it will do is it will call its helper function with three parameters. So self.head, like the node equal to self.head, So I will keep track of that. Key equal to 1, so that will remain same, and index equal to 0 over here. So first it will check if not node. So node is like it is not none. So this will become false. It will go over here if node dot data equal to key. Yes, node's data is equal to the key. So it will return this index. So this boundary case, that is the first element condition, is also true. So it will not call its recursive function again, and it will straight away return index. And this index will be returned by this return statement to the main function where this function was called. Similarly, we can keep track of the we can try for the key equal to 2 case as well. So suppose we have passed a key equal to 2 over here, and these initial parameters will be same because internally it will still call node equal to self dot head and index equal to 0. So first this condition will be checked. If not node, node is not none, so this will become false. If node dot data equal to key, now key node's data is 1, key equal to 2, so this will again become false. Now it will call its recursive function, so search recursive helper again. Node will point to node dot next, so node will become node dot next, and index will become index plus 1. So this will be incremented one by one, and it will pass as an parameter to the recursive function. Inside the second iteration, like when the node passed is node 2, key is same, and index is 1, it will again check if not node, node is not none, so this will become false, but node dot data is equal to the key, so this will become true, and it will return index 1, which is the correct answer based on the zero based indexing. Suppose we pass a key which is not present at all inside the linked list. So let's say we pass a key of 3. In that case, again the initializations will be normal, so node will point to where self.head is pointing, and index of 0 will be initialized. So if not node, this will become false because node is existing. Node.data does not match with the key, so this will become false. It will recursively call its helper function. So node will point to node.next, and index will be incremented by 1 and then passed as a parameter to the recursive function. Again, for the second recursive call, this condition will become false because this is not none. Node.data does not match with the key, so this will become false. Again, it will call its recursive function. Node will point to node.next, and index will be incremented by 1 again by this index plus 1, and it will be passed as a parameter to the next recursive function. Again, for the third call, the node passed is key, index is 2, and key is 3. Now this if condition will trigger because node is none over here, so this will return -1, and this is correct because we have now it knows that all the nodes in the linked list has been checked before it reaches the none value. So a answer of 2 will not be returned, and only -1 will be returned because that indicates that the key 3 is not present in the linked list. So as we are sure by visualizing the code that our code works for all boundary cases as well as non-boundary cases, we can execute this code and we can write actual code to test this code. So I will create a linked list object by calling the constructor of the linked list class. Inside the constructor, we need to pass an array of data. So I will use the same data as we have visualized in the example 1 and 2. First, let's print the linked list to see whether the linked list has been constructed correctly or not. Yes, 1 arrow 2. And this print function is working because we have defined this print function. So it knows how to connect the data using arrow. Now we can call the search function linked list dot search recursive. We don't need to call the helper function because that is a hidden function and that will be automatically called by this function. So let's say we pass the key equal to 1. Yes, index 0. 1 is present at index 0. Let's say we pass key equal to 2. Yes, index 1 will be written. Let's say we pass any other values than other than 1 and 2, it should return -1 because it is not present in the linked list. Now, one more thing we need to note over here, that if the list contains duplicates like this, that is, there are two nodes with the same data, this function should return the lowest index, that is the first element from the beginning which matches the key. So here, if we pass key equal to 1, there are two nodes, that is node at index 0 and index 1, that has the key 1. So it should return 0 like this. So the linked list has been constructed like this, but an index of 0 is written. So this is how you write a recursive code to search an element in a linked list. The time complexity for this algorithm is linear, that is O of n, as the element that we are trying to find can be at the end of the list or not present at all. And hence we have to traverse the entire list in the worst case. The space complexity of the recursive code is linear, that is O of n, due to recursion stack usage. So definitely use the iterative code unless you are specifically asked to write the recursive code. If you ended up liking this video, please press that like button, comment any feedback that you have for this video or this channel, share this video with your friends. The code that I write in all my videos of this channel is available in my GitHub profile, whose link is in the description. You can connect to me via LinkedIn, whose link is again in the description. If you want to see a line-by-line explanation of data structures and algorithms like this, check out the playlist over here. If you want to learn Python built-in functions along with various Python features, tips, tricks, and real project examples, then check out the playlist over here. If you want to see a hands-on game development project, check out the playlist over here. And I will see you in the next video.